Good morning, students. Yes, today we will see the overall view of the Unit 1. Okay, see, these are all the topics already discussed. Definition of the signals, systems, classification of systems, and then operands on signals like time shifting, time scaling, amplitude scaling. After that, complex exponential and sinusoidal signals. Next, singularity functions and related functions, impulse function, step function, signal function, and ramp function. Next, we'll see the analogy between vectors and signals. It means similarity between vectors and signals, orthogonal signal space. Next, signal approximation using orthogonal functions, mean square error, closed or complete set of orthogonal functions, orthogonality in complex functions, and then related problems. These are the topics what we have discussed in our previous classes also. Just we will see. Okay, so signal is nothing but a function of one or more independent variables having here we have the single dimensional signal as well as double dimensional signals. So if it is varied with a single variable, then it is called single dimensional signal. If it is varied with n number of signals, and then it is called multiple multiple signal or two D signal, two dimensional signal or n dimensional signal. So some examples of the signals are voltage or current in an electronic circuit, position or velocity or acceleration of an object, force or torque in a mechanical system, flow rate of a liquid or gas in a chemical process, digital image, digital video or digital audio, a stock market index. Okay, next, classification of signals based on the number of independent variables. So dimensionality, that is called dimensionality. Based on the number of independent variables, it is one independent variable, it is called one dimensional signal. More than one independent variables, it is multi-dimensional signal. Based on continuous or discrete independent variables, a signal with the continuous independent variables is said to be continuous time, that is CT signal. A signal with discrete independent variables is said to be DT signal. Next, continuous or discrete independent variable, then continuous valued CT signal is said to be analog signal, and discrete valued DT signal is said to be digital signal. These are all the graphical. These two are the graphical representation of our CT signal and DT signal. So it is continuous for all time t x of t. It is represented by, it is drawn between x of t versus t. So it is drawn between x of n versus n. Okay, so it is represented like this, and it is represented like this. then then this is the signal. Signal is CT signal is called function, and DT signal is called a sequence. Okay. Then properties of signals. Properties of signals. Even signal. How it is said to be even signal? It has to satisfy the condition x of t equal to x of minus t for all values of t for continuous time signal or for function. For sequence, it is defined as x of n is equal to x of minus n for all values of n. So it is symmetric signal. It is symmetric about the origin. Some examples of the even signals are, these are the examples of the even signals. Next, odd signals. It has to satisfy the condition x of t equal to minus of x of minus t for all t, or x of n equal to minus of x of minus n for all n. It is antisymmetric about the origin. So these are the graphical representation of the odd signals. Next, periodic signals. How can you say that it is periodic signal? It has to satisfy the condition x of t equal to x of t plus capital T for all t. Similarly, x of n equal to x of n plus capital N for all n. Okay, this is periodic signal. These are the graphical representations of the periodic signals. Next, deterministic and random signal. What is meant by deterministic signal? It is predictable with respect to time. Okay, that is that means that it depends upon the time. So x of t equal to sine 3t. Random signal, it is not predictable with respect to time. It is random. It doesn't depend upon the time. Example, thermal noise, continuous time signals and systems. So here the properties, time shifting property. So how it is defined, y of t equal to x of t minus b. So it is shifted towards right side or left side by b units. So it depends upon the value of b. B is a real number. If b is greater than 0, it is shifted to the right by mod b. If b is less than 0, it is shifted towards left by b, like this. Time reversal. Time reversal means time reflection, or it is also called as mirror image. Mirror image. Okay. So y of t equal to x of minus t. That is called time reversal. So this is the graphical representation of time reversal function. Next, time compression and time expansion. It is also called as dilation. So it is represented by y of t equal to x of at. So it may be compressed or expanded, depends upon the value of a. If it is at, it is it is it is expand. It is 1 by a. It is compressed, like that. See, like that. Okay, this is compression and this is expansion. Here, this is the given signal x of 2t. If it is x of 2t, it will be compressed. If it is x of t by 2, it will be expanded. Next, time scaling. So it is also like time compression, time expansion, or time dilation. It is also in the form of x of at. Okay, combined scaling and shifting. Here we are combining scaling and shifting properties. That is x of at minus b. Okay. Mm, like this. Next, amplitude shifting. Here amplitude will be shifted. So a into x of t. Y of t equal a into x of t. Here a is real number. Amplitude shifting. Amplitude scaling is a into x of t. Amplitude shifting is y of t equal to x of t plus b. Okay. Here b is real number. Amplitude shifting adds a vertical displacement to x. Okay. The combined amplitude scaling and amplitude like time scaling and time shifting. Okay. Next, decomposition of a signal into even and odd parts. How the signal can be decomposed. So it is the signal can be represented as a sum of even signal and odd signals. Even signal and odd signals, xe of t plus xo of t, where xe of t is even signal and xo of t is odd signal. Xe of t is represented as half of x of t plus x of minus t, and xo of t is half of x of t minus x of minus t. Okay, here xe of t is called even signal, xo of t is called odd signal. By adding these two, we will get the complete signal. Okay. Next, right sided signal. So it is defined as x of t equal to 0 for all t is less than t naught. D and t naught, the functional edge is d and t naught. Up to t naught, its value is 0. Okay. Similarly, left side, it's up to t naught, its value is there. D and t naught, its value is 0. That is the left sided signal. By combining these two, we will get two sided signals. Next, bounded signals. A signal is said to be bounded. There exists some positive real constant a such that x of t mod x of t is less than or equal to a for all values of t. So power and energy signals. So power energy signals are power signals are more powerful than the energy signals. These are infinite power signals are having infinite duration. These are having finite duration. Here the normalized power is finite and non-zero. Normalized energy is finite and non-zero. Normalized energy averaged over infinite time is excuse me, infinite. Normalized power averaged over infinite time is zero. Mathematically, these are tractable. Mathematically, these are realizable. Signal energy and power energy. So, energy E is represented as integral minus infinity infinity mod x of t whole square dt, whereas power is defined as limit t tends to infinity integral minus t by 2 to plus t by 2 mod x of t whole square dt. Real sinusoids, this is represented as x of t equal to a cos omega t plus theta. Okay, where theta and omega and a, these are all real constants. A is amplitude or magnitude, omega is angular frequency, and theta is the phase angle. Okay, next, complex exponentials. So how the complex exponential is defined? It is mathematically represented as x of t is equal to a in t power lambda into t, where a and lambda are complex constants. Okay, unit step function. how the unit step function is defined. U of n or u of t is equal to 1. For t is greater than or equal to 0, it is 0 otherwise. Next, signum function. How the signum function is defined? The signum function is nothing but it is equal to minus 1 if t is less than 0, it is equal to 0 if t equal to 0, it is equal to 1 if t is greater than 0. So mathematically or graphically it is represented like this. Okay, this is the graphical representation of our signum function. Next, rectangular function. It is rectangular. It is looking like rectangular during some bounded. It is it exists during the bounded inputs, bounded values. So it, from minus 1 by 2 to plus 1 by 2, it exists. Remaining, its value is 0. Its value is 0. Okay. Okay. So it exists during the particular time, that is from minus 1 by 2 to plus 1 by 2, it exists. Okay. Next, triangular function. It is looking like triangle. So it is varying from minus 1 by 2 to plus 1 by 2 is also. So it is defined as triangular of t equal to 1 minus 2 into mod t, or mod t is less than or equal to 1 by 2. It is 0 otherwise. Next, unit impulse function. So impulse function exists only at t equal to 0 or n equal to 0. Okay. So delta of t equal to 0 for t equal to 0, and integral minus infinity to infinity delta of t dt equal to 1. Okay. So this is the generalized function. So these are all the relations between unit step, unit impulse, and unit ramp functions. These are all the mathematical relations. Okay. Next, coming to the system, it is an entity, so that processes one or more input signals in order to produce the one or more output signals. Here x naught to xm are the input signals, y naught to yn are the output signals. Next, also coming to the classification of the systems. So based on the number of inputs, number of outputs, types of signals processed. So like types of signals also, here also we have the classification of the systems. Number of inputs, it is a single input SI. Number of multi input, if the multi inputs are there, then it is multi input MI. Number of outputs, single output SO, MO. So similarly CT and BT. So types of systems are causal and non-causal systems, linear and non-linear systems, time variant and time invariant systems, stable and unstable systems, static and dynamic systems. So causal means its value is 0. It depends upon the present state and past in, past inputs. So the output depends upon the present and past positions of the input signal. So that is y of n equal to x of n plus 1 by 2 into x of n minus 1. Non-causal system, if it doesn't satisfy, it depends upon the future values, and it is called non-causal system. Linear and non-linear systems. A system is said to be linear if it obeys the superposition and homogeneity principle. That is uh, linear x of t equal to x of um, a into x1 of t plus b into x2 of t b equal to a into transformation of x1 of t plus b into transformation x2 of transformation of x2 of where a and b are called some constants. Next, time invariant and time variant systems. A system is said to be time invariant if it time delays or time advance of the input signal leads to a identical time shift in the output signal. So that is represented as y of t equal to h of x of t minus t naught. And linear time invariant, it doesn't depend upon the time. Stable and unstable, bounded input. If you do the bounded input, then we will get the bounded out. This is also called as VIVO system. VIVO system. Stable and unstable systems. Okay. Static system. What is system? Static system is a memoryless system. There is no memory. So if you do some input, it will give some output. That's all. There is no memory. X of t. X of t is input. It will give y of t as the present values on. The output signal depends on present values of the input signal. Dynamic system means It has some memory, it processes something, and it will give the output. Okay, so it depends upon the past values, present and past values, past and future values of the input signals. So that is a memory system. Discrete time systems, system properties. So these are all the properties: stability, memoryless, causal, non-causal, time invariance, linearity. These are all the properties of our systems. Next, coming to the analogy. We already discussed about the analogy of the signals and vectors. So if you take the signal and vector, if you take vector is nothing but really it is having both magnitude as well as the direction. If we take scalar or signal, it is only direction. Okay. So here, if you take in the case of vectors, if we take the component of one vector along with another vector, so that is represented as G equal to C into X plus E. Here E is error vector and G is approximated as C into X. So G is approximated as C into X, and E can be calculated as G minus Cx. Okay, G minus Cx, or we can get the C equal to G into X by X dot X or mod X square. So G into X by mod X square. If these two are orthogonal to each other, then G dot X is equal to 0. C value will become 0, or G dot X equal to 0. Okay. So in the same manner, the same concept can be extended to signals also. So vectors concept, the orthogonality of vectors can be extended to signals also. So it is like this vector component of orthogonality can be extended to signals. So G of G, here we are taking G of t and X of t are the two signals. So how the G of t can be approximated? G of t equals C into X of t plus error signal. So error signal E of t is equal to G of t minus C into X of t during the particular interval t1 and t2. t1 is less than or equal to t is less than or equal to t2, and it is 0 otherwise. Okay. So how to minimize this error? Error signal can be minimized by integrating error square signal and differentiating this dE with respect to C and equated to 0. Okay, so that d by dc of integral t1 to g of t minus c into x of t whole square dt equal to 0. So that we'll get c equal to integral t1 to t2 g of t into x of t dt by integral t1 to t2 x square of t dt. Or we can write this as 1 by ex into integral t1 to t2 g of t x of t dt. If these two signals are orthogonal to each other, then c value will become 0, or integral t1 to t2 g of t into x of t dt will become 0. Okay, and these are some examples we solved in our previous class. So next, orthogonality in complex signals. Orthogonality, same concept can be extended to complex signals also. Okay, so it is finally it is represented like this: C equal to 1 by ex into integral t1 t2 g of t into x star of t dt. Why? Because it is complex signal. So, or we can write this as if these two are if these two are orthogonal to each other, then g of t integral t1 to g of t x star of t dt equal to 0, or x1 of star t into x2 of t dt equal to 0. So next, energy of the sum of the orthogonal signals by adding these two, x mod x square plus mod y square, are Ez equal to Ex plus Ey. Orthogonal signal space. Here we are taking the set of signals, number of signals. So that is C1 into x1 of t plus C2 into x2 of t up to Cn into xn of t. That is sigma n equal to 1 to n Cn into xn of t. Okay. Okay. Then Cn equal to integral t1 to g of t into xn of t dt by integral t1 to xn square t dt, or 1 by n into integral t1 to t2 g of t into xn of t dt. Okay. Next, orthogonal signal, same concept. So energy is its energy is given as E of g, Eg equal to c1 square e1 plus c2 square e2 plus dash 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 plus cn square into en, that is sigma n equal to 1 to n cn square into en. Next, we will discuss the mean square error. So that mean square error is epsilon as we already know that epsilon is equal to 1 by T2 minus T1 integral T1 T2 f of t minus sigma r equal to 1 to n Cr into Gr of t whole square dt. So we know that Cj equal to integral T1 T2 f of t Gj of t dt by integral T1 T2 Gj square t dt. Okay, that is 1 by Kj into integral T1 to t f of t Gj of t dt. Okay, it is nothing but uh, it is equal to r integral T1 to f of t Gj of t dt is equal to Kj into Cj. In the same manner, we write Cr into Kr equal to integral T1 to t f of t into Gr of t dt. Okay, r Cr into integral T1 to t Gr square t dt. Okay, substitute these equations in equation number 2. We will get epsilon equal to 1 by T2 minus T1 in integral T1 to T f square T dt plus sigma r equal to 1 to n Cr square Kr minus 2 into sigma r equal to 1 to n Cr square Kr. So it will become integral T1 to T f square T dt minus integral r equal to 1 to n Cr square into Kr, or we can write this as 1 by T2 minus T1 into integral T1 T2 f square t dt minus c1 square k1 plus c2 square k2 plus s dash dash cn square kn. So this is the expression for mean square error. Then after that we have solved some problems also. So these are all the problems. These are the problems using time shifting property. Okay, time shifting property. Next, modification of independent variables. So here the modification continuous time. So continuous time, here we discussed the three properties: time reversal property, time scaling property, and time shifting property. For discrete time signals also we discussed the three properties: time scaling, time reversal, and time shifting properties. Okay, like this, and we have solved some problems also. And these are all the problems by using the time shifting property, and we are multiplying these two signals. Okay, and then even we have to find the even part of the signal and odd part of the signal for the given signal. So given signal, how to find out the even part half of the x of t plus x of minus t. How to find out the odd part half of the x of t minus x of minus t. So by adding these two, so individually we will calculate the even part of the signal, and individually we will calculate the odd part of the signal. By adding these two, we will get the original signal x of t like this. And here also individually we will calculate the even parts and odd parts. So for discrete time signals also, half of x of n plus x of minus n is nothing but a even part. Half of x of n minus x of minus n is nothing but odd part. So individually calculated, adding these two, you will get the original signal. Okay, so this is about our first unit. Okay, so, so already material is there. So study it. Do the problems individually. Okay, so that we will get the concept. Okay, okay. And this I am concluding the today's class. Okay, thank you.